Hi, I'm Michelle Crummell, and I'm going to walk you through how to get your course set up and ready for student use. Right now I'm logged into Canvas. I'm looking at my dashboard, and under Unpublished Courses, I have two courses listed at the moment. The first is a course that automatically appeared here. It was created by the district. It's called AP Calculus BC. So this is one of my AP Calculus courses that I will be teaching this year. At the moment, this is a completely empty course. I can tell that no content has been put into this course yet because there's no thumbnail here. I'm just seeing this blank rectangle. And if I enter the course, there's no home page. I can check some of these other places. If I click on pages, no pages have been created yet. There are no assignments, etc. So at the moment, this is a completely empty course. Let me go back to my dashboard. In the past, we have been given empty courses, and it was up to us to fill the course with content. This year, the district will be pushing out content into each of our courses. So that might take a couple of days. Starting August 6th, they're going to begin syncing the master courses that were created over the summer out with all of these individual courses. So I suggest you wait until that content has been pushed into your course before you start making any changes. You'll know that the content has been pushed into your course when you see an image here as a thumbnail. And for AP Calculus, this is what that image is going to look like, this white spiral image here. So what I have over here is just a copy of the master course that I created myself so we can go through the demo. So let's pretend that this is my AP Calculus course that was pushed out by the district. You're going to enter, and right away you should see a home page. We're going to want to customize this, but before we do that, the first thing we should do is publish the course. Now, if you want to hold off and wait until you're done customizing and then publish the course just to make sure that students can't view it yet, that's okay too. Just don't forget that step. The way that you publish your course is by clicking Publish right here. And when you do that, it will say Published to indicate that this course now is published. You can unpublish your course at will. When it's in an unpublished state, students will not be able to enter the course. So I recommend you go ahead and publish it right off the bat so you don't forget to do it. But if you're uncomfortable with that and you want to wait until all of your custom edits are in place, feel free to do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this course. The next thing I'm going to suggest you do is publish the content in this course. And again, the reason I'm suggesting you do that now is because it's really easy to forget to do that. And what happens is when you're logged in as a teacher, you see everything. You see the pages, you see the assignments. It's all here. You don't run into any errors. But when a student clicks on a page, a button that is supposed to take them to a page, if that page is not published, the student is just going to get an error message. In fact, let's go ahead and look at Student View. Your home page has been published for you, but most of the other content in the course is unpublished right now. So this is what I would see as a student. I would click Enter here, access denied. So that's what happens when a student is trying to access something that's unpublished. And sometimes those links are buried deep. It's like a button takes them to a page, and on the page there's a link to an assignment. So there's a lot of things that have to get published in order for the student to find the content you want them to find. So my recommendation, let me leave Student View, is to go ahead and just publish everything. Maybe you don't want to publish the entire course. If you just want to publish the first unit, that would be fine. Or you can just go ahead and publish everything. So the easiest way to publish everything is going to be to click on Modules and publish all of your modules. Now I say that, but I would recommend you do not publish the very first module. I'm going to collapse this. This first module is teacher resources. So it makes sense to leave that unpublished because we don't want students to access the teacher resources. But all of the other modules here are student materials and they can be published. When I click to publish the module, notice that it automatically publishes all of the items in that module, which is nice. You don't have to click on them individually. And I'm going to collapse as I go. So then we have course intro. I'm going to publish all of that. The course intro is set up to get you through the first 2 weeks of school, so up until August 31st. If you're not comfortable publishing more than that, it's okay. If you want students to only have access to that first 2 weeks of material in the beginning, that's fine. You can leave everything else unpublished and then just remember to publish it as you go. Now, I will caution you though, not everything is listed in this module. So for example, in Unit 1, there is an assignment that is built into Unit 1 that is not listed in this module. You can find it in the Unit 1 review. And it's this assignment that says Unit 1 CTQs. So if all you do is publish the module, you will not have published that assignment. And then students will still, when they click on this link, will not be able to get there. So I think the modules, going through and publishing your modules is a great way to make sure all of your content is published, but you still might miss a few things. So I'm going to quickly publish everything. And again, you don't have to publish all the units if you don't want to. I'm collapsing as I go just because there is a lot of content here in this module. And when you collapse a module, it stays collapsed. Even if I leave the page, when I come back later, it will stay collapsed. Just makes it a little bit easier to navigate. Now, the way this course is set up, students will never see this modules page, and you can change that if you want them to be able to see the modules page, but right now it's set up so they won't. Only you as the teacher would ever be on this modules page. I'm just publishing everything at the moment to show you how you could potentially miss some things if this is the only way you go about publishing items. Okay, so all my modules are published except for this teacher resources page. What I'm going to go do now is look at my list of assignments and make sure I haven't missed anything. And it's possible that the master course has, no, it doesn't. Okay, so right here we can see this assignment, Unit 1 CTQs, is still unpublished because it wasn't placed directly into one of the modules. So you would want to publish that. We've got Unit 2. So I'm just going through the list right now, and anything that's not published, I'm going to publish. Now you might feel like you don't want to publish everything because you don't want students to see everything, but let me show you a little trick. Once you get everything published, so you know you will never have access issues because now all the assignments have been published. Let's go back to modules. See how they're still all collapsed? I'm going to open Unit 1 and I'm going to unpublish this module. Unit 1 is now unpublished. Now notice when you unpublish the module, it does not unpublish the items within the module. However, since students don't have direct access to these files, they have access to them through the module. Even if they're not seeing the modules page, it's still organized by the module. The student won't actually be able to get to any of these things in the module. And let me just show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to go home and click on Student View so we can see. Now I've only unpublished Unit 1, so let's keep that in mind. So the student enters the course. This page hasn't been unpublished. Okay. So we have a little more work to do. I showed you to go into the modules and publish everything in the modules, and I showed you to check the assignments and make sure you published all of your assignments, but there are other things here that need to be published as well. So let's go through. Announcements, there are no announcements when you first download this course. You can certainly create your own announcements. We went through modules. Discussions, there are no discussions that have been created yet, so we don't have to worry about that. Quizzes, there are no quizzes in here. Collaborations, pages. Okay, so that's the issue we just ran into. The enter here, right, takes us to a page that has not yet been published. So pages, I'm going to click on View All Pages, and I can see that there are a lot of pages that are not published. Now, some of these were in the Teacher Resources module, and that's why they're unpublished. But some of them are not. And I know that you won't necessarily know, so to be on the safe side, what you can do is just publish everything and then go back and unpublish your teacher module. That would be fine as well. I'm going to do that just to show you that even though these pages are published, unless students have a direct link taking them straight to that page, they won't be able to find it. Okay, so I've published all of my pages. I don't think anything else should cause files. We've published, I think there aren't that many files in the master course template. Outcome settings. Okay, so I'm going to go back into student view and let's try this again. Student view, this is what the student sees when they first enter the course. They're going to click enter here. It's going to take them to this landing page that lists all of the units in the course, and they're all linked to the different modules. So we're going to click on Unit 1, which is unpublished at the moment. The module is unpublished, but the content inside the module is not. But what happens is they get this message that says this page is part of a module that hasn't been unlocked yet. So I just wanted to show you this to let you know that it is still safe to publish all of your content in your module. As long as you unpublish the module itself, students won't be able to access it. So that would be my recommendation, just to avoid some future frustration when students may be trying to click on an assignment or a discussion or something you've created that's not published. Let's go back and look at our modules and see where we are right now. I'm going to go ahead and republish Unit 1. And remember, I went in and I published all of the pages. So if I now open my teacher resources, we can see that these pages have been published. So it's up to you. I personally would probably, just like for extra security, unpublish these teacher resource pages. Now, even if students have a direct link by some miracle, they still can't view that material. Okay, so we're off to a good start. We've published our course. We've published all of the content in the course. The next thing we're going to want to do is customize the home page. So the home page right now has an enter here link, which takes them to an overview of all of the units in the course. If they're not sure where they need to go to find what they're looking for, that's a great place to go. Just enter here. We also have some buttons that are linked to different areas of the course at the bottom, and this is all customizable. So course syllabus will take them to the course syllabus, and you can edit this page. You can change it if you need to change it. You can add some more information to the course syllabus, or you can use it as is. In the sidebar on the left, we've got links that take them to the modules, same as that landing page did. So if I click on Unit 2, it will take them to the Unit 2 overview page where it lists out here all the lessons in Unit 2, and then they can click on which lesson they need, and it'll take them to that lesson page inside of that module. Let me just go back to the home page. So that was from course syllabus. So that's another way that a student could get to where they're trying to go. Course content is linked to the very same page as this enter here button up here. So course content, it takes them to the big table of contents where it breaks down the units. If I click on Unit 2, that's going to take me to that overview page that lists all of the lessons in Unit 2. So let's go back home. How to study math. Now this is a module that we've created for students to work through during those first 2 weeks, and they have access to it throughout the entire year. So I definitely would recommend that students revisit this periodically as needed. So there's some general information that will kind of explain what they're going to be doing in this module, and then they can click next to start the module. So let me go back home. I like having that on the home page because, again, it's something that they should be revisiting frequently and reflecting on their study habits. There's a link to the grading policy, a teacher info page, and a Canvas support page. So these buttons, these pages haven't been filled out yet. The grading policy, you would have to insert your own grading policy on this page. So you would click edit, and then you would create your page for your grading policy. If you decide you don't want to have a button that takes them to a grading policy, then you can delete that button, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Teacher info, again, it's just sort of a blank. It's not completely blank. There's giving you some ideas on what you might put here, but you're definitely going to want to edit this page and put your own information here for students. And then Canvas support, this is going to give students some direction if they're struggling with how to use Canvas or how to navigate your Canvas course. So in a similar way to how I've created this video to show you how to get started with this course, you might want to create a video for your students once you get everything customized. It doesn't have to be as long as this one, just a brief kind of introduction showing them, you know, what to click on, where to go, the different things, parts of Canvas they should be using. And you can place a link to that video here, or you can actually embed the video right here for students to watch. And then this link I recommend leaving because it'll take students to a Canvas support page where they can get all kinds of tips and little tutorials on how to use Canvas. So let's edit the home page. Just going to click on edit. And they don't give you a whole lot of space to see what's on the page here, but you can expand this and make it larger. If you bring your cursor over here to those, 8 dots right there, and just click and drag down, you can make that bigger. So it's easier to see what's going on. Now, this is called the Rich Content Editor. This little editor window that we're looking in is called the Rich Content Editor. And buttons, Canvas buttons, don't appear in the Rich Content Editor. So it looks like it's just text that's hyperlinked here. Those are actually buttons, but the only way you're going to see the button is if you click Save. Then you can see them as buttons. Also, let me point out that in the mobile app, the buttons won't appear as buttons. They will just appear as the text links. So what we're seeing in that Rich Content Editor, let me click Edit again and pull this down to get a bigger view. This is how it would look in the mobile app. So things you want to customize. Well, first of all, obviously you want to put your name here. So welcome to AP Calculus AB with Miss Crummell. You don't have to keep it that color. You can reformat this as you like. And then, you can certainly change this message to students that you have right here on this homepage for them. If you want to delete any of these buttons, you can. You can just highlight the text and then delete it, and that'll get rid of the button. If you want to add a button, that's a little bit more tricky. You're probably best off doing that in the HTML editor. So let me show you that. I'm going to click right here, those angular brackets, to switch to the HTML editor. And the code for creating a button. So let's see if I can pick this code apart a little bit. Canvas support was that last button. So it ends with this \A bracket. So I'm going to back up until I see where that A bracket started. So I'm going to space the code here to just show you where these buttons are. Unfortunately, the HTML editor in Canvas strips away blank lines. So I'm organizing the code neatly so that I can tell where things are. And then as soon as I hit save, it's going to get rid of all these blank lines that I just put in here. So that's a little bit frustrating. And that's just the way that the Canvas editor is set up. But here we've got our different buttons. So let's say we wanted to add a button. I would highlight this and copy it. So Control-C on my keyboard. And if we want to add it to the end, one thing let me point out though, I didn't do it correctly here because we don't want it, we don't want to put it after this /P. This /P is ending the paragraph that contains all the buttons. So I didn't really space this out well. It would be better to do that. And then up here, I'll leave the P on its own line like that. So the P starts a new paragraph, and inside of this paragraph, we have 6 different buttons right now. So if I want to add a button, I want to add it within this paragraph, or you're going to have weird line breaks where your buttons are. And I'm going to copy that button code and then paste it. And now I have a duplicate of that last button. So what are we going to need to change? Well, you're going to need to change the link. Where does it link to? And that starts here with the HTTPS and goes all the way, it's inside of these quotation marks. Okay, so I'm going to replace this with just the word link to show you that's where the link goes, and that actually that link appears in the code twice. So I'm going to do the same thing here and just go until I see the quotation mark there. And that's the other link. And then this you would change based on what you're linking to. If you're linking to a page, it should say page. If you're linking to an assignment, it would say assignment. If you're linking to a module, it would say module. And then this is the actual text that appears on the button. So you can just, type whatever you want the text to say. I just put new text there, and that's all we need. This class equals button primary. The button is what's creating it as a Canvas button. The primary is what's determining the color of that button. So primary, it's going to be that navy blue color. And then when you mouse over it, it's going to change to that nice teal color. External is what gets rid of that little icon that you probably noticed if you've created things in Canvas before. When you create a hyperlink, it puts this little link icon next to your link. And by putting this external class in the code, we can remove that little link. In fact, let me not put that there just to show you what I'm talking about. So the new button I created, it's going to have that annoying little link icon next to it. You might like it. I don't like it. Okay, so I've got that. It's not really linked to anything at the moment, but I think that'll be fine. It's just going to be like a broken link. And then my button's going to say new text. So if I go back to the rich content editor, it doesn't look like a button, as I said, until I save this. But if I save the page, now I have my new button. And, oh, we're not seeing that little icon. I wonder why. I'm not sure why. But if you ever have that issue where you're trying to make that little icon disappear, you just need to go where it says class equals in quotation marks and type external, and that'll get rid of that. So here's my new button. If I click on it, it doesn't actually go anywhere. It says the page link does not exist, but you can create it below. We're not going to do that. So I'm going to go back home. That's how you add a new button. And the way that I designed this home page, it will automatically resize for different devices. So if a student is looking at this page on the mobile app, on their cell phone is tall and skinny, so it's going to look like this, and all the buttons will be lined up in a nice column. If they're using, maybe an iPad, the aspect ratio might be more like this, so they might see something like this. If they're on a widescreen computer, it's going to look more like this. So this arrangement of buttons will automatically resize to fit the size of the window or the size of the screen that the student is using. Okay, so that's how you're going to set up your homepage. You can add more buttons, you can add more text, you can add images, however you want to customize this. We do ask that you keep the Enter Here button at the top because that makes navigation really easy for students who are feeling a little bit lost when they first get into the Canvas course and they're not sure where they should go or what they should click on. If you do create new buttons, make sure you create hyperlinks so that the buttons go somewhere. And if you don't delete any of these buttons, make sure that you do put some content on these pages that haven't been fully developed for you yet. Okay, what if you want to customize some of the assignments? You can go on modules. The students are not going to be able to see this word modules in their navigation menu unless you change that. But by default, they're not going to be able to see that. Only you as a teacher are going to have access to this navigation link that takes you to the modules page. So let's just look at, we'll go to course intro, and this covers those first 2 weeks. So let's go to just the very first thing here, which is a landing page that shows the organization, because again, the students aren't going to see that module with the different items in it. This is how they would navigate to the different days. So if we're on A day, B day schedule, students will have class 5 times during the first 2 weeks. So let's just go to day 1. And here's the lesson plan, if you will, for day 1. And you can see that there are some things that you're going to need to edit here. So you're going to click on edit to edit this. Now it looks like it's a page, it's actually an assignment. So we're going to edit this assignment. And you can decide if you do create a video similar to this one for your students, you could put a link. I'm calling it a Canvas tour for students. Try and keep it short, like 10 minutes tops would be good for a little introductory video. And then if you're doing some kind of icebreaker, you can put a link to that in here as well. Flipgrid is really popular right now, where students can create like a minute long or a minute and a half long video introducing themselves to the class. So you could put a link to your Flipgrid here. Then the next thing that I've included is to have students working through that module, how to study mathematics. And there's several things that they can work through in that module. And then under assignment, they're going to read the course syllabus. So you'll need to link to your own syllabus, whether that be the course syllabus page here in the course, or if you have a PDF that you've created, like a longer PDF, you could link that here as well, and students could download that and have a copy of it. I like to send out a Google form to collect information from students and parents, contact information, see what questions they have about the course or any concerns they might have about their placement in the course. And then there's a link here to a worksheet for them to do for homework that first night. So you are free to edit this here in the Rich Content Editor, or you can open up the HTML editor and really customize it how you like. Now let's go back to the modules page, and I want to point out that some of the content might be locked. You might, at some point, you might encounter something in this course that's locked. If it's locked, you should see an extra little icon right here to the left of this green check mark, and it's going to have a little like lock and key symbol to show you that it's locked. And what happens when a page is locked is you won't have the option to edit that page. You won't be able to edit it if it's locked. Let's go back. So let's say that you want to change something about this page, but the page is locked. Well, all you need to do is from this little drop down, click on duplicate, and it will create a duplicate of that page, and the duplicate is yours to do with as you wish. So you can open up your duplicate. Oh, that was not a good one to duplicate because this was just the menu, but it works for any of the pages and assignments and discussions, anything you would find in here. You can just duplicate it, and now you've got this copy that's your own, and you are free to edit your copies. So the duplicate will not be locked. You'll be able to click on edit and change whatever you want to change. You probably want to rename it so it doesn't have the word copy in the title. You can even name it, well, you probably can't name it the exact thing as this other page because the name of the page actually gets embedded into the URL. So you'll have to be creative with how you name your duplicated items. You'll have to just change, at least one character in the name there. And then don't forget that you will need to publish it in order for students to see it. For this particular course, I don't think you're going to run into that issue. We left everything unlocked except for, I believe, the teacher resources up top. Okay, then the last thing I want to talk about in getting this course set up for students is customizing your navigation menu. You're going to click on Settings, Navigation, and here you can decide what you want students to have access to via a direct link over here in this side navigation menu. So right now it's only set up for students to see home, announcements, and syllabus. When we go to Student View, they're only seeing home and syllabus right now, and that's just because there are no announcements. No announcements have been created yet, and so that option's not there. But as soon as you create an announcement would pop up right there in between home and syllabus. So let's leave Student View and go back into Settings, Navigation, and then if there is something that they're not seeing at the moment and you want them to be able to see, you can just drag it from the bottom up here to the top. Or you can open up the menu here and click Enable or Disable or Move. It says Enable because it was disabled, but generally the stuff up here, it'll say Disable, and then if you click Disable, it'll move it down to the bottom. I didn't want to do that actually. So let me enable that. Get it back up to the top. When you're finished and you have this sorted and arranged, and you can even rearrange this if you don't like the order that things are in up here, you can change that. When you get it the way you like, don't forget to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and click Save. Otherwise, your changes aren't going to stick. If you want to add a custom link, so you want to add something to this navigation menu that's not here in the options, you can do that. For example, we might want to create a link that goes to AP Classroom because that's something that our students may frequently need to use. So the way you would create a custom link is to go into Apps. So again, this is under Settings, click on the Apps tab, and we want the app called the Redirect Tool. So I'm just going to type that in the box until I see it. Right here, the Redirect Tool, click on Add App, And here you're going to enter the information. So the name of the link you're going to change because you don't want it to say redirect tool in the navigation menu. Students will have no idea what that means. You want to say what you would normally name the link. So let's name it AP Classroom. And then what URL do you want that to point to? So let me grab the URL for AP Classroom and paste that right there. Make sure, let me undo that if I can. Make sure you don't paste it right here, because then look what happened. HTTPS is there twice, and that's going to be a broken link. So you want to delete the link entirely and then paste in the correct link. Okay? Then very, very important, you must check this box that says show in course navigation. That's the whole point of what we're trying to do. Check this box, and then keep this one checked as well. Force open in a new tab, just so that, well, I guess you can decide if you want it to open in a new tab or if you want it to open inside of Canvas. It starts looking really clunky if you try and have a website inside of a website. So I prefer to open it in a new tab and then add app. Now you might think that didn't work because nothing happened. We don't see anything over here, but as soon as you refresh the page, there it is right there, AP Classroom. So now I can go back to navigation, find, it's enabled up here automatically. Okay, so that is on the list now. And if we go to student view, there it is right there, AP Classroom. So when the student clicks on that, they're going to open it in a new tab, and there's AP Classroom. So you can create as many custom links as you would like. Let me leave student view. If you make a mistake, so maybe you didn't enter the URL correctly, and when you click on this it's a broken link, or maybe you forgot to check that box, whatever the case may be. If you need to remove this, let's talk about how to do that, or edit it. You can edit it if you want to change the name, or you can just remove it and try again. Still under apps, now you're going to click view app configurations and find it. This is an alphabetical listing. So ours was called AP Classroom. It's right there at the top, easy to find. But if you're looking through here, another clue is that it's going to be unlocked. It's not going to have this locked icon. It's unlocked, and then you've got this pull down menu here, whereas these other ones don't have that, the ones that are come pre-installed or pre-configured. So AP Classroom, we're going to click here, and we can either just delete it and get rid of it, or we can edit. If you edit it, you can change the name of it. You can change the URL. You don't want to change anything else. You might have to change the URL down here as well. So if you can't figure out how to edit it well, it's not working, then just delete it and try again. So I think that covers everything, or at least the minimum for what you'll need to do to get your course student ready. Best of luck in the new school year.